Matters radio show. Be sure to follow us on blogtalkradio.com and also subscribe on our YouTube page. Search YouTube and type in Melanie Matters. The Melanie Matters show, where we always highlight artists, business owners, and we talk about the matters of the community. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Melanie's Matters. Guys, I'm so excited. You guys know I stay excited, but I'm really, really excited because so many things are going on. But before I get into any specifics, I sent out a blast earlier today letting people know to stay tuned because something exciting was going to happen. So this is what I have created. This is a segment called What Do You Think? You know, there's a lot of things that are going on in the world, in our communities, and our families. So I think this is a good way to have an open dialogue about what's going on, because a lot of these things that are really going on around us, it is so taboo and people don't want to talk about it. So we need to have a forum where we can talk about those sensitive subjects. So that is exactly what we will be doing. So again, the name of this segment is called What Do You Think? So before I get into the meat of everything and the subject for this week, I do want to explain how this works. So on Facebook, you can find me at Melanie's Matters. Okay, and that's Melonis and Matters with an S. Okay, I've created a group, and the group is called Media Blast. So I'm assuming that you probably can just search Media Blast, and it'll probably, take you right to my page. And that is where most of the conversation will happen. However, you still can email me. And whatever the content is that we talk about, you can definitely email me to give me your opinion. And my email address is melonismatters@gmail.com. And again, it's Melonies, Melonis, matters with an S @gmail.com. And just make sure that you identify, or give me something that I'll know that you're responding to the question or something like that. You could put in what do you think in the subject or whatever the subject is about. So this is a way to, again, have that open dialogue about things that are happening around us. And guys, don't be surprised if I reach out to you and ask you to be on my show. And those who may not know, the YouTube TV show is doing phenomenal. It really is. We have some great things coming down the pipe that I haven't even had a chance to really put out there because I'm, trying to get everything composed together. But once it is together, we have some awesome things coming out. Just to give you a heads up, we just had Dr. Roz back on the show, and I have not had a chance to get that video edited yet. I'm not even going to give it away. But when I put it together, I'll make sure I blast it out everywhere that I can. Next month, we have a lot of good shows coming up. We have Mr. William Pointer, who will be on the show talking about his youth organization that actually started in Detroit and now has migrated to Baltimore, so you don't want to miss that. We have another show coming up in April, and it's about special education. Now, I've asked a few educators to be on this forum because I think it's very important that we understand the dynamics of not just education but special education. I think that's a whole different ball game. And then later on in April, we're going to be talking about addiction. We're going to be talking about that. So we actually have a couple of professionals that's going to chime in on that. And then in May, we're going to have a subject that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Well, we're going to definitely talk about it, and we're going to do something really different and special with this show. And it is going to be how we're perceived by others and everything. So we have a lot going on. So I just wanted to key you guys in on that. So with all especially on the YouTube channel, especially on that. But I'm offering a dynamite package where you get the radio and you get the YouTube for $100, and that is for 30 days, and you cannot beat that. So if you're looking to, further promote your product, your services, please contact me 443-790-6303. Now, that's all out the way. So today, what do you think? Now, guys, it's been in the news. It's been everywhere. So we're going to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it from a different angle. Okay. So we have the preacher. Okay. The preacher, Mr. Creflo, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Dollar. And he's a leader of a mega church in Atlanta. So he asked his congregation to fund him so that he can get a jet, a private jet. So we all know, people are on his side and people are against him, and we all know that. Okay, my personal opinion is held to the no. But let me just say this. And I know I'm going to get some backlash from this, but I'm going to say this. I think, and I can only speak from this perspective because this is all I know. I think when African Americans, we have to get a hold on this whole leadership thing. I get it. You want to go to church because church is supposed to be a place of holiness. Church is supposed to be a way that you can just lay your troubles at the cross. But do not be misled that church won't. But I'm going to take you back. I was a very little girl. I think maybe, let's say 6, 7, 8, I don't know. And we used to attend a Methodist church here in Baltimore. And even as a little girl, I don't know where it came from, but I always had an issue with the plate being passed around, okay? However, as I got older, I still had issues, but when you grow up in a church, you think that this is the only way. This is the right way. But guys, I must say this, and I must say this. As I got older, I tried so hard to stay on that path of attending church because I thought that was the right thing to do, or, God will look down on me if I don't attend church. But the more that I started to understand about is not so much of you attending church, but it's the relationship that you have with God, the less I attended church. Now, in saying that, let me just say this. In saying that, I have tried to attend several churches. I cannot give you a number, but I know it's probably 10 or more, and I always go through the same routine. I start attending, it feels good, it feels like that's what I should be doing, it feels right, and I come back to the same resolution every time. The money, what is the money being used for? Why are we being asked to pay? Now, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, okay? I do understand that certain things have to be done. Certain things have to be paid, the church itself, upkeep of the church, even giving back to the community. All of that is a part of it, but this is where I always have the problem. I always have the problem when the pastor or the preacher is living 10 times better than the congregation itself. Now, in saying that, I used to work with a group of ladies who were older than I, and one lady I can remember in particular, she would literally take her lab and give to the church because she solely believed that that is what you're supposed to do. But I remember one time when she came across, financial difficulty. She was having some issues. I think she had just had surgery done, and but she took whatever her income was to make sure that the church had its 10%. Now I found that mind blowing because of a lot of different reasons. But I think that we are so conditioned as a community, and again, I'm speaking on behalf of African Americans because that is what I know. I think we're so conditioned that if we don't tithe, then we're going to hell or we're going to have a disconnect from God. But the last I checked, you do not need a middleman to be in position to say, God, this is her last day on earth, God. She did okay. She gave her tithing, her 10% every paycheck. She's allowed to go to heaven. And I think as a community we have to get in check with that. But and it goes back to what this preacher did. This preacher did really he did what many preachers have been doing the whole time. Preachers, pastors, what they've been doing for years. They have been doing for years, and I do not think it's right. I think a lot of a lot of ministers, pastors, preachers, they get into religion because it is a lucrative business. It is a lucrative business, and I do not think the God that I serve, the one who I pray to every night, I do not think that he wants his leaders of the flock to live so lavish that they're out of touch with what is really going on. And I think there's a problem within our community, and I do solely think that the reason why it's a problem is because we are looking to be guided. We are looking for some guidance, and we look to the church because the church is all we have known since the beginning of history. But we still have to understand as individuals, the church they have changed. We graduated together, and he is now a pastor. And the last time he and I spoke, it was about religion, and it was about the church being a business. And let's just say I have not spoken to him since then because my argument to him was that the church has become the status, the filing status is a nonprofit. However, it is definitely for profit. It is definitely for profit. And you know what his final response was? You're right. I cannot dispute that. You're right. So my question to you all is, what kind of responsibility as individuals do we have to safeguard ourselves from leaders, who profess to be men and women of the cloth, but they are not presenting as women and men of the cloth. Really a question. I think that's a hard question to ask because, especially with African Americans, because that means that we have to maybe look in that mirror. So we have to look in that mirror, and then we have to see something is not quite right. Something is not quite right. Even with this instance, with this pastor that we're talking about that brought out all all of this. Um, supposedly, a news team interviewed one of his congregation members, and she was interviewed, she walked away to a bus stop. So that to me that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes, and yet you want a jet. But I'm not blasting this particular passage simply because it has been done and done and done and done and done and done over and over and over again. So I'm not blasting him, but I think it is our responsibility to pay attention to that. Because just because you have gone to school and graduated supposedly with a degree in theology does not necessarily mean that you are no. You have a responsibility to realize, you cannot just be led blindly. And I think a lot of us, Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, go to these quote unquote places of worship and you are led blindly. But I do think it is your responsibility. So that is the question. You have a responsibility. So we want to put that out there, you guys. I know some of you gonna cuss me out. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Everyone has an opinion. But I really want you guys to dig deep on this one. Dig deep and really think, who are we allowing to lead us? And there are several types of leaders when you're talking about leaders. A few that I can think of, you have transactional leaders. You have, what's the other one? Transactional. You have servant leadership. And it's a few other leaderships out there. And I just think that we're not looking at what a leader of a church or leader of a temple or synagogue or whatever, what their role is, just because they stand behind a pulpit and they have literature in front of them that is supposed to be of holiness does not mean that they have good intentions when it comes to leading the flock. So what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Please hit me up again. melonismatters@gmail.com. That is the email address. You can find me on Facebook. You can search Media Blast, or you can search Meloni's Matters on Facebook. Thank you guys again. Every time that you respond, you enter yourself to win a gift. Okay? You enter yourself to win a gift. So I'll be giving away gifts, very soon, very soon. So anyway, thank you guys for listening, and I'll be talking to you soon. Don't forget to post. All right, bye.
Coming up, ladies and gentlemen, new music from Donald Robinson.
I awakened this morning, I was filled with despair. All my dreams turned to ashes and gold. As I looked at my life, it was barren and bare. Without love, I had nothing at all. Without love, I had nothing. Without love, I had nothing at all. I had conquered the world, and what then do I have? Without love, I had nothing at all. Once I had a sweetheart who loved only me. There was nothing that she would not give. I was blind to her goodness, and I could not see without love cannot live. Without love, I had nothing. Without love, I had nothing.